It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
Hey there, folks, and welcome into Oshawa, Ontario for the final day of the U Sports Men's Soccer Championships presented by Bruce Power. It's the UBC Thunderbirds and the Montreal Carabins, the two top seeds competing for today's national title, and it's rare that we get both top seeds in this as well. A decent crowd out as well on a rainy day in Oshawa here at Vaso's Field. Ben Steiner alongside Matty Ma on the call of today's game. Dylan Baker over on the French broadcast. And we've got the two best teams making it to the Sunday finale.
Such an exciting matchup. Montreal has qualified for the U Sports Final 6 of the last 7 years. Montreal last one in 2021. And both times these two teams were last in the finals, they fell to their opponents. So you can imagine how hungry they are today.
And two strong teams as well. They've met 4 times previously. Last time it was the Montreal Carabins coming out on top in the semifinal last season. UBC, it's been a little while since they've won a national championship. You have to go all the way back to 2013. We'll take a look at both of these teams now as well. And it's a pretty balanced game between these two teams. We've seen a lot of them. They're both similar in a lot of ways, but also very different.
Yeah, absolutely. UBC looking to really capitalize on that attacking transition. They attack with such pace and being so technical on the ball has really been effective for them. Montreal, too, converting on 2 set pieces yesterday. You can imagine that's going to be important as well here.
And we've seen set pieces be important throughout this tournament as well. When you look at Montreal, they've got a guy like Ulrich Belanger at center back. He's been outstanding. You mentioned him before the game off air as well. And he kind of goes hand in hand with UBC's center back, Luke Stasevich, as well.
Both of them providing such composure and calmness on the ball, so solid defensively, just such anchors in the back line.
2 solid backlines indeed, but for the Montreal Carabins, it's that midfield heartbeat of Quentin Pommier. He's been around U Sports for a little while now, and he's been outstanding for the Carabins as well. Outstanding this tournament as well.
Yeah, he's been awarded player of the match in both the games that Montreal have played so far. Yesterday, scoring a worldie of a free kick as well.
Yeah, tucked that one nicely into the far post against Alessio Carbone and the York Lions. But Montreal experienced in getting to this stage. Pommier has been the heartbeat of this team for a while. In 2021, they managed to win the national championship when they beat Carleton in penalty kicks and fell short in the last couple of tournaments as well. Of course, last year making the final, losing to Cape Breton. They come out this year with having, just wanting to avenge that result from last year.
Yeah, so we have some graduating players as well, so wanting to finish it off on a high note.
And with the UBC Thunderbirds as well, it's a bit of a younger roster in many ways, still a lot of veteran talent as well, but one of those standout youngsters has been part of a tenacious front three, Luke Norman.
Luke Norman with a number of goal contributions, scoring 2 goals in the semifinals, also has 2 assists so far, and he was taken second overall in the 2023 U Sports Draft by Vancouver FC.
And lots of potential CPL talent on hand here as well, with the likes of Quentin Pommier being a Pacific FC draft pick, Eric Lajeunesse, of course, a couple years with Pacific FC, and he's spent time in the CPL this season as well, wanting to focus on his education and coming back to U Sports as well. But 2 of the top teams in U Sports going head-to-head. You can't ask for much more on the final day, and this is going to be quite the battle.
Absolutely, and you got to think UBC feels a little bit at home with the weather. Hopefully that takes to their liking, but great matchup nonetheless.
And a few of these Carabin players still on the roster from 2019 when they actually hosted at Sepsum at the University of Montreal, and they lost to the UQTR Patriots that year. That was a stinger of a loss for them then. They won 2 national championships, 2018 and 2021, but neither of these teams have faced each other in the championship game, despite over the last 10 years dominating university men's soccer.
Yeah, we didn't see an upset leading into the final, which at times we have in the past few years. So really excited to see how these two teams compete today.
And we'll be right back here at Vaso's Field for the Bruce Power 2024 U Sports Men's Soccer Championship Final.
Delaney, Northwest Territories, the birthplace of hockey. Here, you'll find a community full of history and tradition. A community that Quaker surprised by transforming their arena kitchen into a Quaker breakfast bar. Stocked with our Canadian whole grain oats, it's now a place to gather, to eat, and to celebrate. We're proud to feed the passion for hockey in the place where it all started. Because we believe no matter where you're from, you've got this.
Nuclear power is lighting the path to the future. A future where clean, reliable electricity meets rising energy needs. A future with a prosperous economy founded on job growth. A future where new medical isotopes triumph over disease. For decades, Bruce Power has provided clean, reliable energy to Ontario and cancer-fighting isotopes across the globe, and will continue to play a vital role in powering a clean economy for the next generation.
U Sports on CBC, presented by les championnats U Sport à Radio-Canada. Une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Barabird Medical Supplies, Les Bag Baron Rings, et par Bruce Power, and by Bruce Power.
Welcome back into Oshawa, Ontario and Ontario Tech University. We're here at Vaso's Field for the final match of the Bruce Power 2024 U Sports Men's Soccer Championships. The UBC Thunderbirds going up against the Montreal Carabin, the two top seeds heading into the weekend, battling for the gold medal here today. Ben Steiner alongside Maddie Ma on the call on the English side of things here on CBC Sports. Dylan Baker over on the French side as well. And Maddie, we've got two of the best teams in Canada battling it out for gold here today.
Yeah, and we're going to meet both teams before we get started. The lineup for UBC with Bennett McKay in goal, wearing number 1. Number 2, Lukas Dasovic. Number 6, Noah Hrdalika. Number 8, Chris Lee. Number 11, Brennan First. Number 12, Jovan Mann. Number 13, Eric Lajeunesse. Number 14, Oliver Herbert. Number 24, Luke Norman. Number 28, Marcus Kaiser. And wearing number 35, Henry Godbout.
And for the Montreal Carabins, Antoine Leonard Benu, Sebastian Kabuzzi, Julian Bruce, Zachary Bellamry, Quentin Pommier, Wesley Eves, Awanje Jamitse, Ulrich Belanger, Monteser El Harchali, Emile Legault, Maxime Filion, and between the sticks, Joachim Millie, who made a few outstanding saves against York in that semifinal.
Yes, he did, and proving why he was named a first-team All-Canadian this season.
When you take a look at these two teams as well, they haven't actually matched up in a final before, but both with a lot of experience when it comes to big games. Of course, UBC have won a ton of Canada West championships. They got back on the top of the podium this year. In the RSEQ, the Montreal Carabins have been outstanding as well. So these are two of the strongest programs over the last 10 years. Even you can go back all the way to the start of university soccer in Canada, and UBC was dominant from the start. Montreal took a little bit slower to get there, but over the last decade or so, they've been outstanding.
Yeah, and UBC hasn't won a U Sport final since 2013 when they beat Laval. 23 Canada West titles, 5 straight from 2017 to 2022. Can they take that experience and put it on the pitch today?
And the Carabins also having a stretch of dominance as well. Of course, only the 2 U Sports championships, but both of them very recently. Last time the UBC Thunderbirds stood atop the national podium being 2013 when they won their 13th U Sports title. It was 10 years between when UBC won in 1974 and they didn't win again until 1984. They're trying to end the longest streak that they've had in program history here today. And do you think they get it done if you had to pick a winner here?
It's a tough one. Both of these teams have had such a great weekend. I'm going to go with UBC.
We'll see how this one plays out. Matty Ma, of course, playing against many of these players, or with many of these players through training and League One BC as well. Being a player with the TSS Rovers in League One and with University of Toronto, bringing that playing experience into our broadcast booth. As that one just lofted up to Henry Godbout and quickly taken back by Sebastian Kabuzzi, and Millie will get his first touches of the game, but a handball there from Luke Norman as he went down on Millie and quickly called back for what's effectively going to be a goal kick.
Right away, we see that press from UBC, which has been so dangerous.
And that front three of UBC as well, of Jovan Mann, Luke Norman, and Henry Godbout, has been tenacious throughout the tournament so far. And jumping right back on the ball there is Brendan First. He'll leave that to Godbout, pressured there by Zachary Bellamry, and they'll get the attack on. Right up to Julian Bruce, but he's not able to get there before Bennett McKay able to take that ball. McKay distributes out to the right and just taken by Bellamry, and that one will go into the parking lot. As Hrdlicka, one of the few players to play in that U Sports final a few years ago against TRU, played all 120 minutes and penalty kicks in that one, as TRU won 3 penalty shootouts that weekend to win the national championship on home soil, and that one was in the snow as well. And just sheets of rain here in Oshawa as Belanger able to play that one up, headed away by Dazovic. And just challenged there by El Harchali. He'll have an option to Bruce. Bruce couldn't quite get the shot off. Taken back by Filion, dropped back to Pommier. Long shot, blocked away, rebound. Filion in on goal, blocked again by McKay. Unable to keep it out, and Chris Lee will be able to calm things down for the Thunderbirds.
Bennett McKay under pressure right away here in the opening minutes. Showing his experience. He's really been a key part of this UBC team for some time.
And Belanger just able to get the challenge in there and slow things down for UBC's counterattack, but Godbout gets on the ball, quickly cleared by Wanji Jamitse, and UBC will have to attempt again. Brennan First, last year's Canada West Rookie of the Year, chips that one over the top, tries to find Norman, couldn't quite connect with it, and Wanji Jamitse will see that go out for a throw. Frantic pace to start this one, just 5 minutes in.
Both of these teams have so much pace to them as well. I think this is the most similar matchup we've had in team profile so far. Both of these teams leading up to this point have played different styles and have really been able to show what a different class they are.
UBC, of course, with some of those players that played in the final a couple of years ago. Most of this Montreal team having that experience of losing a national final from last year. when they lost to the hosts in Cape Breton. Another dominant program over the last few years. Not able to make it to this weekend. As Elhard Chali rises to meet that one, but taken back by Godbout. Plays that up the line and just trickles over the line.
One thing I've really been impressed with from both of these teams, actually, is their dynamic movement off the ball. Can see how well they gel together, and they're finding these spaces to exploit their opponents that we haven't seen too often this tournament.
And part of that likely coming from often playing together as that one's lofted over the top. Fillion get in position to get onto it, but McKay able there to just thwart out the danger. As Lee lofts that one up to Jovan Mann. Was unable to hold on to it and taken back by Elhard Chali in midfield. Leaves it off for our player to watch, Quentin Pommier. Was a key part of that 2021 national championship team with Guy Frank Gasomi Penda leading the line on that team as well. As that one's just sent up, but a little bit too far for Fillion to get onto, and taken back by Pommier as Belanger will calm things down for Montreal. Wesley Eves, Wanje Jamitse up against Godbout. He'll leave for Pommier. And Fillion just dropping back. Pommier now. Sends that one out wide for Leonard Beno, headed on by Fillion. Wanje Jamitse just taken away in midfield by Kaiser, and he'll just force that one out of play.
In the opening 5 minutes or so, we've seen Montreal with more possession of the ball, but that's what we saw yesterday, too, with McGill and completely against the run of play.
That one from distance just skips wide of the near post, but a good attempt there from Zach Bellamry, nearly catching UBC off guard.
But completely against the run of play yesterday, UBC capitalized very early on. They like to sit in that block and choose their moments to go.
Bennett McKay lucky to see that one trickle wide of the net as he was rooted down to his spot. And UBC able to work up the other way. Norman just drops back to Hrdlicka. That battle between Hrdlicka and Wanje Jamitse certainly one to watch today. Julian Bruce also going to get in there. And two very experienced center backs on this Montreal side as well. Ulrich Belanger, who has looked good throughout this weekend, one of the standout players. And of course with 26-year-old Emile Legault alongside him. As UBC able to work an attack here. That cross comes in from Lee and just taken by Millie. Had man bearing down on him, and quickly up the other side. A long kick from Millie right into the hands of Bennett McKay. La Jeunesse able to play that one up, taken back by Leonard Beno, and we'll just go out and some decent support here for Montreal. Some more athletic staff coming down as well as a few supporters. Bruce just unable to get on that one. Lofted up, Bruce heads that on. Allows Elhard Chali to get onto it. He's up against Lee. Elhard Chali fakes with the left. Takes a deflection, and that one will go into McKay's hands as he avoids the corner kick.
Already seeing how instrumental Bruce is in the Montreal attack with a goal and an assist. Really impactful so far.
As McKay tries to work his way out of the double press. And throws the ball right out of play and back into possession for the Carabin. Belanger lofts that one over the top, tries to find Fillion, but just challenged there by Dazovic, and they'll see that one go out of play. McKay will send this one back in play, and that strike partnership of Fillion and Bruce already proving slightly problematic for UBC to play out of the back.
Yeah, Fillion with a goal already this tournament. 6 goals, 1 assist in the regular season in the RCQ, and an all-star at that as well.
And UBC trying to hit on the counter. Godbout plays that one over the top, and man, just not able to get onto it before Legault got a foot in. And Legault will just clear that out of play for a deep throw for the Thunderbirds. And the battle between that UBC counterattack, notably Jovan Mann leading the line after playing a little bit more centrally in midfield earlier in the year. But the battle between that UBC counterattack and Emile Legault is certainly going to be one to watch.
I spoke about it yesterday as well. Not only their pace off the ball, but on the ball as well. So technical and able to attack with such pace, even in small spaces. It's very dangerous.
Just called back for the offside. And Joachim Millie will send this one back up the pitch for Montreal to attack. As Dazovic able to get there first, gets the push in on Fillion, and that one will just go over the Montreal bench.
Dazovic just so good at winning those aerial balls.
As Wanje Jamitse will send that one up to Julian Bruce, draft pick of Atletico Ottawa in the 2022 U Sports draft. As Pommier just able to flick that one to keep it in. Drop back to El Harchali. He skips aside on first with the left foot, and a fantastic stop there from Bennett McKay. McKay able to just pick that one out of the corner. But that's 2 times McKay's been called upon.
McKay is in his 4th year with UBC. Played this past summer with Burnaby FC in League One. He's been busy so far.
And a few of these Montreal players have also played in some big games this season. A few of them playing on that CS Laurent team that was able to advance through the Canadian Championship, beat the Halifax Wanderers, and then play Toronto FC, hosting TFC at their own stadium, falling to the likes of Federico Bernardeschi and Lorenzo Insigne. But several of these players having that strong experience in big games already this year.
There is such a wealth of experience on this field, with a number of UBC players coming from the Whitecaps Academy system and also playing with Whitecaps FC too.
So that one just sent over, and Bruce couldn't quite get there. Montreal able to attack in a variety of ways. Able to put UBC under pressure with that front two, but also able to go route one and just play the ball over the top, as Pommier able to intercept that lofted ball and leave that for Kabuzzi. Chipped over the top. He's able to nearly find Bruce, but that'll go out of play for a goal kick.
I'd like to see UBC settle into this game a little bit more. Needing to find some comfortable possession. Just take a nice deep breath.
They'll go short to Lee. Try and work that up, but Oliver Herbert couldn't quite find that transition. Taken back by Elhard Chali. Fillion bearing down, but McKay able to get the punch on it. And Hrdlicka will play out of the back. That one picked off by Wanje Jamitse with pace. He'll leave that to Bruce. Back to Wanje Jamitse. On the cross, left foot, sent in and cleared aside. But danger there once again from Montreal.
McKay keeping the Thunderbirds in this match. Wow.
A good clearance there from Eric Lajeunesse as well. As you can hear, the chants of Allez les Bleus for the Montreal Carabins. As fans weathering the elements here. As Kabuzzi able to get back on that one. Lofts it over to Pommier, who's onside. Right-footed cross in as Fillion in the box. Gets the header on it. Bruce, and a fantastic Diving save from McKay. Danger certainly not gone, though. Pommier back on the ball. Has Kabuzia as an option as he stays onside. Will take it himself. Tries to slide that one through. Hrdlicka able to pick it off. And just clearing their lines, UBC, but under quite a bit of pressure.
So difficult when you defend for a long period of time. As soon as UBC wins the ball back, it's going right back to Montreal. You work so hard to get it back. You want to keep it for a little bit.
Montreal able to maintain a lot of this pressure, and Hrdlicka quite involved so far as well in this battle against Julian Bruce.
We also see Montreal getting to almost every single second ball.
Hrdlicka will take his time to send this one back in. Norman able to head that one on.
Again, no challenge.
Taken back by Pommier quickly, and once again, Montreal maintained possession. Able to work that one back to Legault. Fillion tries to get through, but Chris Lee will just see that one out of play. Lee, one of those experienced players that has both experience in MLS Next Pro with Whitecaps 2 and the CPL with Pacific. As Pommier able to drop back and open up a little bit of space for Wanje Jamitse to work with. Wesley Eves, Wanje Jamitse does well to get past Godbout. Left-footed cross in and just cleared aside by La Jeunesse. Danger not gone, though. Pommier able to get there first. Pommier able to win that one back, and it will trickle out for a goal kick. UBC's gone short with these so far, but haven't been able to really maintain possession of it.
No, the pressure coming from the Montreal front too. They haven't figured out how to deal with it yet.
And UBC opting to go long this time. But once again, rising to win at least the first ball was Montreal, as it goes out for another throw for Noah Hrdlicka. He's been very involved at right back so far. UBC not quite able to get their midfield too involved yet. As Elhard Shali able to get back on the ball for Montreal. First able to nearly get a touch in there. And Montreal will work up the other side. This one taken back. And challenge once again. Hrdlicka trying to hold off his man. Cross comes in and cleared aside from La Jeunesse, who's looked good today.
Montreal continue to come in waves. And the difficult thing here is how UBC is playing defensively. If one player is late, it's so hard for the rest of the team to then compensate.
A good attempted cross there from Belhamri. But so far, McKay's been able to stop those chances even when the shot gets through. Elhard Chali getting on the ball, but quickly taken back by First, as Kaiser is pulled back, and UBC will win the foul in their own half.
McKay already facing 5 shots, 4 shots on goal.
McKay putting in what's been a good performance so far. Not the only strong performance of goalkeepers throughout the men's and women's soccer tournaments. Ellie Lancaster of the Cape Breton Capers in the women's tournament made 16 saves through 120 minutes against UBC, but the Thunderbirds with a bit of an attack here. This one taken by Godbout, just picked off by Wanje Jamitse. He's in a battle. Wanje Jamitse able to win it back and keep it in play and clear their lines, and able to get that to Bruce, who just clipped that off a pass to Brennan First. And the counterattack is on for Montreal. First able to come back and get a touch on it, and one back by Kaiser. First able to play that up to man and Spread wide to the right side for Godbout, who has a bit of space. Chips that over the top. Couldn't quite find Mann, who was making the run off the ball. Montreal able to calm things down in their own half. Send that one up for Bruce to get a touch on. Wasn't able to control it. And possession regained by the Thunderbirds. First, able to play that into Mann, who dropped a little bit deeper. But just getting a touch on it there was Kabuzzi.
CBC is your home for exclusive coverage of the Vanier Cup playoffs. Catch the 2024 UTEC and Mitchell Bowl Saturday, November 16th, and the 2024 Vanier Cup from Richardson Stadium in Kingston on November 23rd. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. on CBC TV, CBC Gem, and cbcsports.ca. U Sports on CBC, where champions are made.
As Pommier just heads that one out, and already quite involved through these first 18 minutes is Quentin Pommier. Even though he hasn't necessarily created many chances for Montreal, he's been solid defensively. That was more of his role throughout the RCQ season as well, against some of the stronger teams that in what was a very strong conference this season.
We're starting to see a little bit more of UBC on the ball, but just can't figure out that final pass.
And in the semifinal, they were able to hit on the counterattack quite a bit. But it seems as though today they want to keep a little bit more possession, just haven't been able to yet. As Bellamry will go back for the deep throw for Montreal. On the first day of this championship that we've seen rain as well. The pitch has been slightly slippery with the cold throughout the week. A newer artificial pitch here at Vaso's field. But how much of a challenge does this offer in a final as well? Of course, still pretty uniform playing surface, but a little bit wet.
Yeah, we've already seen a number of players slipping throughout the weekend. It's those little moments that can make the biggest difference in matches like this, especially these teams being so closely matched, really, and they haven't had time to adapt because this is the first day with rain.
Bruce able to start the counterattack for Montreal as they work on this second phase. That one just pushed on through by Bellamry as he brings it down to the touchline, but sees Lajeunesse shield that out for a goal kick.
I have to say, one of the nicer fields in the OUA.
Turned over on the goal kick. Julian Bruce back on it. Has Fillion as an option. Blocked away by Lajeunesse. And Kaiser able to just clear their lines momentarily. Kabuzzi back on it. He's under pressure from Norman, but just lays that off to Elhard Chali. Beats one defender, beats two. Left-footed strike. Looping over and doesn't quite dip under the bar, but it will be a corner kick for Montreal.
Individual defending, so important. We see a little bit of hesitation from UBC in their back four right now. Close to the ball, you have to make an effort to win it.
As Pommier will take this right-footed in-swinger. As Elhard Chali as a short option. But he'll take this long, lofting that to the back post. Fillion rises. Had Belanger as a second option, but they'll win another corner kick.
Extremely dangerous delivery. We've seen them go short a couple times in the last couple games, but that in-swinger, just so threatening.
Elhard Chali to take the corner kick from the other side. Pommier to drop in short. But certainly the same targets as Elhard Chali. Loops this one in close. Fillion gets a hit on it off the crossbar. And UBC lucky once again.
That in-swinger, perfectly placed. Back line has let Fillion sneak away from their mark. Have to be tighter on those set pieces.
And a few big saves from Bennett McKay at a crossbar as well. Sees UBC getting off a little bit lucky. Well, Montreal has just not been able to finish just yet.
This was a bit of the story in Montreal's first game as well. So many chances, but unable to finish. UBC still yet to get a shot. A shot in general, not even just shot on goal. Meanwhile, Montreal with 8 and 4 of those on target.
It's Hrdlicka unable to work the ball up to man there, and Montreal will reset from the back as UBC with another failed attempt at attacking. Montreal perfectly content to play this one long as well, knowing the ability to win the first and second balls here today. Hrdlicka sends that one up, and UBC able to maintain possession off a second ball for one of the rare times today, but Wanje Jamitse sees that one out of play.
A much better job there at winning the space and body position.
That one taken back by first, just slips off his foot and played back to the goalkeeper from Pommier. Lofted up to Fillion, takes with his chest and will leave for Kabuzi up to Elhart Chali, able to split the defense of Hrdlicka and Kaiser. Bruce now. He'll leave that one for Balamri down the left side. He's up against Hrdlicka. Balamri tries to slide that one through, but a little deflection off Hrdlicka makes all the danger go away for McKay. As Lajeunesse plays that one up the line and unable to hit Oliver Herbert, but does stay in play. And applying pressure is Luke Norman. Millie making no nonsense of that clearance. Godbout under pressure. And Hrdlicka able to clear it away before Bruce got to it. And colliding there were Kaiser and Belanger. Belanger getting the worse for wear on that, but looks like he'll be fine. So that one lofted up. One back by first. And Herbert will maintain possession. Challenge there by Pommier, able to skip away from the challenge. Herbert now with 3 defenders on him. Brings it down to Lee. Lee with the cross in. Bobbles around in the box. Nobody was able to get to it. But one back by Hrdlicka. And UBC with a bit of pressure. Lajeunesse now tries to thread that one through. Taken back by Bruce. Who just sidesteps on Brennan first to calm things down for the Carabin. Kabuzi able to play that one over the top, but too long for Elhart Chali to get onto.
I'd like to see UBC beat that first line of pressure more often. Their best opportunities have come from building through the midfield. Maybe looking to see a center back drive past the line of pressure. Instead, we've frequently seen them try and play long down the line.
There's that one back by Luke Norman, not able to maintain possession as that one worked back up to Bruce. And Montreal able to get a throw just under our broadcast booth. Elhart Chali challenging against Dazovic, who's able to play out of the pressure. As Lee will find his way to Hrdlicka on this near side. That one lofted over the top, taken back by Godbout, and finds some space to First. First with a cross in, but man, not quite able to be there. Second ball taken now by Lee. Chris Lee with quite a bit of space, challenged by Pommier. Cross comes in. Bearing down was Norman. He couldn't quite get to it, and taken back by Kabuzi. Bruce now just bounces off his knee, but able to Played the ball back to El Harchali. As Bellamri will maintain control for Montreal. Bellamri, one of the few players in this team that's also on the video game Football Manager. Rated 32 in that game. For any Football Manager fans out there. As Pommier regains possession, a lot of space to work with, loops that one over the top, and McKay able to claim that. It does seem as though UBC's been able to settle into this game a little bit more, but it's still very much leaning the way of the Carabin.
The Carabin do such a good job of swarming the ball immediately as it's turned over. What that also does is give them confidence to take more risks going forward, knowing they're going to win the ball back.
Just missing the header was Godbout, and Wesley Eves Wanja Jamitse, and we'll see that one go over for a throw-in. This one taken back by Godbout. First able to play that into a nice midfield pocket. Has man as an option. We'll drop that one out to Norman on the near side. He's got lots of space to work with up against Belanger. Norman with the cross in. Man rises. Doesn't quite go away yet. And getting in there was Kabuzi. Gets a challenge in on Godbout as well, but no call. And UBC with a little bit of pressure here. La Jeunesse poking up into the play, and we'll play that one back for Kaiser.
And we know from UBC a little bit of pressure is really all it takes.
Hrdlicka calling to be played on this right side, but sent back up to Lee. Jovan Mann to run onto it, challenged by Legault, but Mann gets there first. Able to cut that back, beats his man. And a nice back heel there. Lee at the top of the box, able to leave for first. That one laid off, and running onto it was Luke Norman. He couldn't quite get there. And UBC finally with a little bit of action in the attacking end. As Hrdlicka set to send this one in. Just headed aside.
The two top teams in Canadian football descend on Richardson Stadium in Kingston, Ontario on Saturday, November 23rd for the 2024 Vanier Cup Championship game. Tickets are selling fast, so scan the QR code on your screen or visit usportstickets.ca to guarantee your seat for the biggest university football game of the year. The 2024 Vanier Cup on November 23rd in
This
Kingston.
one taken back by Norman. An option here. That one looped over the top, and man couldn't quite get there. But out for a UBC corner kick, their first of the day.
We'll see who elects to take this set piece. We've seen Lee on them. Doesn't look like he's going to be the one up.
Looks to be Oliver Herbert to send this one in. Certainly a bit of a different option. Lee with a potential long shot on him as well if it does bounce out. But Herbert with the right-footed in-swinger plays that one tight. Godbout couldn't quite rise up for it. And taken back by Bruce. Nice little exchange there with Kabuzi. And Julian Bruce able to work that one all the way back. But no real danger there from UBC on the set piece. Belanger now.
It's what he's so good at. What we spoke about UBC missing, beating that first line of pressure. Belanger, so technical, showcasing this weekend his ability to drive into the midfield, but also his range in service.
As Pommier spreads that one over to the right side with a nice switched ball. Dropped back down to Leonard Beno. And picked off well by Herbert, who tries to beat Leonard Beno but is tackled off the ball. It'll be a Montreal throw. On this Montreal side. Just trying to settle in as well. Haven't quite had the same rhythm as they had earlier in the game attacking-wise. It's been a little bit of time since McKay has been forced into a big save. And Belanger as well. You've mentioned all this praise for him, but only a first year with Montreal as well.
Yeah, and the composure and calmness that he has, you would never know.
Taken by Gonbu up against Wanje Jamitse. A nice challenge to put that one out of play. And Wanje Jamitse has certainly been solid out wing back for Montreal so far today.
A second team All-Canadian as well this season.
Godbout just unable to work his way through this one. First touch by Fillion as Bruce rises and nearly jumps over Brennan first, but gets the worse for wear on that on his tailbone. And he's certainly in some pain. Quite the jump there from Julian Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce got caught in the air. Didn't look like the most comfortable landing.
And Brennan first getting a bit of a talking to. Scored the winning goal in the Canada West Championship match. As UBC found their way against MRU to get back atop Canada West. MRU, of course, winning last season. What's been a tremendous rise for that program. Soccer in Calgary in general. Cavalry FC, of course, winning the Canadian Premier League yesterday. And what's been a big weekend of Canadian soccer with both the CPL, MLS, and both U Sports Championships. Leonard Beno able to work that one down the right side. Elhard Shally plays that one into Fillion. And just taken aside by La Jeunesse, who's calmly able to play that one out. Fillion jumps at the pressure. Allows La Jeunesse to play around him, but second ball once again won by Montreal. As Hrdlicka just heads that out and flicked out a play by Godbout as UBC will try and start a counter. Godbout. He's taken down by Wanje Jamitse, and UBC will get a set piece and a chance to send this one into the box.
UBC's back four, seeming as if they've settled in now. They've weathered the worst of the storm, and you can see they're more confident in their decisions.
And Wanje Jamitse just able to get the challenge in there. Very slight foul, but does take Godbout down.
That slippery turf may have been a bit helpful.
And Lee will be the one to send this one in. Certainly an aerial threat in Lucas Dazovic. As Lee floats that one to the edge of the box, headed away by Legault, but taken back by First. He'll loop that one up, trying to get man on it, but unable to get on it, and just sent out a play.
Couldn't get that delivery to drop over the back line. Too far in front of his teammates.
UBC still with possession in the final third. Well, they haven't spent much time today, but that one sent over the top. First pulled down, and UBC with a free kick just outside the box.
Individual defending and discipline. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment in big games like this one, but have to keep yourself in check.
Looks as though it will be Oliver Herbert to step up to this one, as he just exchanges with Chris Lee, who's taken set pieces for UBC for a number of years, but Herbert the one to step up on this free kick.
I imagine he goes for goal here.
Similar position to where we saw Quinton Pommier score for the Carabin yesterday. Herbert with an option to take a strike with his right foot. Full four-man wall for Montreal. As Herbert steps up, loops this one in. Lajeunesse on target, but just skips over. Couldn't quite put that one down below the bar. It was Luke Norman actually rising on that free kick. But interesting for Herbert not to take the shot there.
Can hear the fans getting even louder.
Certainly not the prettiest day of this tournament so far. As Fillion just trips over his own feet, and Lajeunesse able to work that one back, but quickly taken back by El Harchali. Down that right side as Lee battles and wins the ball back and able to leave for Lajeunesse to clear.
Great job by Lee defensively.
And Millie will just reset for Montreal. The rain not too bad compared to what the conditions were in the 2019 championship between Montreal and UQTR, which was played in sheets and sheets of snow and about -10, as UQTR won that title. As that one just played out of the back, but Kabouzi just getting a touch there on first and winning the foul for UBC.
The road to the Vanier Cup continues next Saturday when a pair of undefeated teams clash in the 2024 UTEC Bowl on CBC. The OUA champion Laurier Golden Hawks take their 10-0 mark to Lennoxville in Quebec's Eastern Townships to face the 10-0 Bishops Gators. Join Vincent Williams and Kelly Jeffrey for all of the play-by-play action exclusively on CBC Gem beginning at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. The road to the Vanier Cup and U Sports on CBC, where champions are made.
As Legault able to play that one out of the back. Of course, that road to the Vanier Cup. This was the Vanier Cup matchup last year, UBC versus Montreal. As the Carabin won that title last year, neither team able to make it to the national semifinals this year in the bowl games. And Pommier able to regain possession for the Carabin. Not a ton of chances in this second portion of the first half, after what was a hectic start for Montreal. Belanger able to play that out to Wanji Jamitse and just well defended by Godbout.
Within the last 5 minutes here of the first half, props again to Bennett McKay. Outstanding performance so far.
Good pressure there from Luke Norman to see that one over the line. But still no shots for UBC. 42 minutes through this one. Just nodded on, but taken back there by Kabouzi. Runs right into the Montreal bench. Hrdlicka on a lot of these throws, was injured for a significant part of this season, but came back late and has been outstanding for UBC through the playoffs and through this weekend as well. As El Harchali gets to that ball first, and Lajeunesse able to get a foot in on Bruce and play that ball out of play. Lajeunesse working in that center back partnership with Dazovic that allowed UBC to be one of the better defensive teams in Canada West through this season.
After a slow start for UBC, finishing the season off in form that they were hoping to see right off the bat.
Certainly had a little bit of a scare in the quarterfinal here, but we're able to get through it over UNB 4-2. As that one taken back by Fillion, and Montreal will try and put together a late attack here in the 44th minute. Final moments of this first half. Wanje Jamitse fakes the cross, keeps possession himself, and is up against Godbout. Brings it down to the corner, and Godbout will see that one out of play, and Montreal will take the throw.
That quarterfinal against UNB, seeing 2 braces from Jovan Mann and Henry Godbout. Haven't seen them be quite as involved this evening.
As Wanje Jamitse lines up to take the long throw in, but we'll just drop that one short. And to pull off a long throw, a little bit more challenging this afternoon given the weather. But does look like Wanje Jamitse will take a second crack at it. Opts to go short again to Pommier. Loops that one over the top, cleared away by Dazovic, but danger certainly not gone. That one back to, just dipping over was Bellamri on the volley.
It's a great connection with the ball on the volley. Just over the bar.
And another worrying moment there for Bennett McKay and UBC, but able to see that one over the bar from Zach Bellamri, the Longueuil, Quebec native. As Hurtalega loops that one over the top. Elhar Chali challenges for it, but taken back there by Wanje Jamitse. We will have 1 added minute of stoppage time here in the first half. Montreal trying to find a late chance here, well controlled and held up by Bruce. And the Carabin will attack up the right side. Leonard Beno. That one taken back by Kabuzi, loops that one in. Couldn't quite control it. As Bellamri will try and win it back on the far side, but UBC maybe with a final chance. A good challenge there from Sebastian Kabuzi to break it up. And Bellamri able to see off 3 defenders. Lay that one off to Leonard Benoit on the right side. And that exchange will go nowhere as UBC will regain possession, and that will likely do it for the first half here. Referee looks at his watch and does blow for halftime. 0-0 between these two sides. Certainly Montreal having the better of the chances between the two teams, but 0-0 heading into the second 45 minutes of the 2024 Bruce Power U Sports Men's Soccer Championship Final.
And Montreal easily could have been up by a few goals. Bennett McKay standing on his head, outstanding. 9 shots from Montreal, 4 of those on target.
When you're able to look at this Montreal team, that ability to have that double press from Fillion and Bruce up top, and then Pommier will drop in and they'll get that fullback press as well. They've just been unrelenting.
Yeah, there's a hunger to Montreal and wanting to win that ball back.
And we'll be right back here at Vaso's Field and the 2024 U Sports Men's Soccer Championship on CBC.
All the goals.
That is a worldie!
All the drama.
That is absolute chaos!
It all leads to this.
Are you kidding me?
The Canadian Premier League Final, Saturday at 3 Eastern.
How are your investments doing?
That was on purpose. You know that topic always throws me off.
Lots of people feel that way. But don't worry, BMO's got advice to spare with any investment guidance and support you need.
I need some.
And you'll get it with personalized investing recommendations to help you feel confident in your decisions.
I'm curious. Do you roll as good as you help?
Falling mode.
It's yes, by the way.
U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
Earlier this fall, U Sports and PepsiCo Foods Canada announced an innovative partnership, marking a significant step towards supporting the career development of student athletes and positively impacting the future of Canadian university sport. They're proud to bring you the PepsiCo Foods Canada U Sports Champion Spotlight. Today, Sarah Saeed is joined by PepsiCo Food Canada's Katie DeVoe, a former Brock University student athlete, to discuss Katie's journey through university sport and the partnership.
Nikki, have you guys put the medals out yet?
I'm with Katie DeVoe from PepsiCo Foods Canada, who is also a former Brock Badgers figure skater. Katie, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to be a student athlete and a figure skater at Brock?
I competed for Brock from 2014 to 2018 on the figure skating team. I had a ton of fun. I met a ton of like-minded individuals where we were able to share our passion for figure skating, while also pursuing our academics. In grade 12, I had a decision to make whether to continue pursue competitive figure skating or go off to school. And I made the hard decision to go off to school, but luckily there's a skating team. And all the individuals on the team, they were able to push me, coach me. I'm friends with a lot of them today. I travel with them and stay connected, which is awesome. So it truly impacted my university experience in such a positive way, and I wouldn't have done it any different.
How has the figure skating and just competing as an athlete kind of helped you to get to where you are right now?
I know at the end of the day, I wouldn't be where I am today without all of my athletic experience. You learn how to be resilient. That's a really big lesson that I learned, and who you can rely on for support as well. As I graduated, I would say the skating piece stuck with me for about 2 years, just from more of like a emotional and personal standpoint. It has come up in every interview that I've done. It has come up from my colleagues and all of that. So I would say it's taken about 2 years to kind of push through that identity shift that would occur. I used to be an athlete. I can appreciate and honor all of the things that it has given me and where it got me to where I am today, because I know I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for those 10 years of skating. I'm really looking forward to how we can improve the experience, improve the transition to post-graduation life, and just support those athletes in the next 3 years. And I'm so happy to be doing it in my day-to-day. I'm so happy to be doing it in my current role and with PepsiCo Foods Canada. Connecting with athletes is something that I love to do. And now that I can incorporate that and bring that into my day-to-day at work is amazing. And it truly just makes me smile. It makes my heart full from like that emotional side, and knowing that I can help and impact others' athletic journeys and career journeys and help them with that transition through some of the activations that we're going to be doing with this partnership. So I really look forward to seeing where we can take that.
Thank you so much, Katie, for taking the time to sit with us and share your experiences. U Sports is really looking forward to our ongoing partnership with PepsiCo Foods Canada over the next 3 years.
Thank you for having me.
where exceptional student athletes are born, where records are broken, where great plays are made, where school colors ignite passion, where champions prevail, where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
Feel every hit, point, and celebration as if you're standing right on the sideline. Our passionate team unlocks a world of possibilities with digital broadcasting made simple, bringing heart-pounding action directly to millions of fans. Proudly Canadian, ISI Live, be there.
La dépendance à la nicotine se manifeste sournoisement. Méfie-toi.
Welcome back to U Sports on CBC. Every year, U Sports celebrates its best, honoring major accomplishments of its student athletes in each sport. Here are the nominees and winner of the 2024 U Sports Player of the Year.
The nominees for the 2024 Joe Johnson Award as the U Sports Men's Soccer Player of the Year are en nomination pour le prix Joe Johnson décerné à l'athlète de l'année en soccer masculin U-Sport, du sport universitaire de l'Atlantique, from the AUS, Colby Mercer, Université St. Mary's University, du réseau du sport étudiant du Québec, from the RCQ, Gabriel Viteoper Balbinotti, Université du Québec à Trois-Rivières, UQTR, des sports universitaires de l'Ontario, from the OUA, Christian Zeppieri, Université York University, et de l'Association Ouest Canadienne, from Canada West, Matteo Brzezina, Université de la Vallée du Fraser, University of the Fraser Valley. Le lauréat du prix Joe Johnson décerné au joueur de l'année en soccer masculin U-Sport est the winner of the Joe Johnson Award as the 2024 U Sports Player of the Year in men's soccer is Christian Zeppieri, Université York University.
Nicotine addiction sneaks up on you. Beware.
Make some noise for your Ontario Tech. Falling everywhere, fearing no regrets. Knocking out the bands, blocking up the rest. I am a Ridgeback. If you're a Ridgeback, make some falling everywhere, fearing no regrets. Knocking out the bands, blocking up the
All the goals.
That is a worldie!
all the drama.
It is absolute chaos!
It all leads to this.
Are you kidding me?
The Canadian Premier League Final, Saturday at 3 Eastern.
Delaney, Northwest Territories, the birthplace of hockey. Here, you'll find a community full of history and tradition. A community that Quaker surprised by transforming their arena kitchen into a Quaker breakfast bar. Stocked with our Canadian whole grain oats, it's now a place to gather, to eat, and to celebrate. We're proud to feed the passion for hockey in the place where it all started. Because we believe no matter where you're from, you've got this.
Nuclear power is lighting the path to the future. A future where clean, reliable electricity meets rising energy needs. A future with a prosperous economy founded on job growth. A future where new medical isotopes triumph over disease. For decades, Bruce Power has provided clean, reliable energy to Ontario and cancer-fighting isotopes across the globe, and will continue to play a vital role in powering a clean economy for the next generation.
Welcome back into Vaso's field at Ontario Tech University in Oshawa, Ontario for the second half of the Bruce Power 2024 U Sports Men's Soccer Championship Final. 0-0 after 45 minutes between these two teams, UBC and Montreal, but there's certainly been a lot of pressure from Montreal. Bennett McKay, a standout for UBC so far.
Bennett McKay had to make 4 stops in that first half, but big ones at that. Fourth-year goalkeeper, bringing in League One experience, just so reliable. His team has got to thank him for that performance.
And a fantastic shot there from Balamri, able to make him stretch all the way out a few times where he's just been in the right spot at the right time and quick reflexes. But the Delta BC native, a standout throughout that first half and really keeping the UBC Thunderbirds in this.
Yeah, and Millie on the other side hasn't to do as much, hasn't made a stop yet, but what has made him so good is, although being out of the game for a portion of time and not facing as much pressure, he is on when he needs to be.
And we'll take a look at the stats after 45 minutes as well. Both these teams level, but Montreal 9 shots compared to just 1 from UBC.
And that one for UBC, not on target either. They've struggled to be dangerous in that final third, as they have in the past 2 games.
But both these teams back on and striving to make their way to the national championship. Montreal with, of course, 2 national championships. UBC has 13 of them. And we'll take a look at these 2 successful programs as well. Montreal, a lot of that success recently. UBC, well, 2013, the last time that they were able to stand atop the U Sports podium.
We look at those provincial championships and highlight the dominance once again. Just so good from both of these programs.
And off and running for the second half here. Mohamed Al-Harchali to get us started. And it's cold, it's wet, but what else are you going to get for the U Sports Men's Soccer Championships when they fall in November? And certainly an exciting one to come here in the next 45 minutes, or potentially more. We might have extra time and maybe penalties to decide a national champion.
At least it's not snow this year.
That is certainly a positive as we're underway and ready here for this second half. Taken back by El-Harchali. And should this one be tied, it would be 2 15-minute halves of extra time and then penalties if not decided. As Chris Lee able to chest that one down, loop that one over the top. Norman couldn't quite get there first. Wesley Eves, Wande Jojonamitse able to get there. And El-Harchali loops that over the top. Bruce just caught way offside.
We frequently spoke about UBC's ability to capitalize on the counterattack. The only goal that has been scored on Montreal this tournament came from York exposing that opposite side on the switch. I've mentioned it a few times, but that switch is going to be so dangerous in transition. Montreal all collapse onto the side of the ball, and you can see now how much space there is on the other side.
As UBC able to play the ball back to La Jeunesse. And Pommier able to regain possession for Montreal. Played a bit more of a defensive role in that first half, Quentin Pommier. But certainly able to make an impact attacking-wise if he does get a little bit more of the ball. But most of that Montreal attack through that first half came up the flanks. As Legault will play this one out to Antoine Leonard-Beno. Tries to slide that through to Bruce. He does. And Bruce up against La Jeunesse. And La Jeunesse just able to get a challenge in there and played out of play.
La Jeunesse defensively getting better and better throughout this game.
Montreal will head over for a corner kick. Mohamed El Harchali to step up and take this one. Does have Quentin Pommier as a short option, but always the vertical options in the box as well. And he will go long. Bruce at the near post, couldn't quite get a foot to it, and taken back by Herbert. Just skips past the foot of Pommier, and UBC able to come back the other way. Pommier getting a touch on it and earning the throw in for Montreal.
Again, it's that reaction. So good.
As Antoine Leonard-Beno gets set to throw this one in. And a nice tackle there from La Jeunesse to start the attack for UBC. His man drops back and just eludes Kabuzi there. As Wanje Jamitse able to get there first, but quickly taken back by man. But not able to keep it in play was Noah Hrdlicka.
Herbert was in acres of space on the left side. We see that UBC does have the range to hit that switch, but they're hesitant to do so.
It's taken back in midfield by Pommier. Leonard-Beno making the run up the right side. He'll get the ball. As El Harchali just picked off by Lee, and UBC will win the throw as Lee goes to ground. Chris Lee, the West Vancouver native. Many of the players on this UBC team pretty well local to BC and Vancouver. A few coming over from Calgary and Alberta as well. As La Jeunesse under pressure plays out and finds Herbert. Leonard-Beno getting way up from his right back position. And Hrdlicka will take this himself. Quite involved through that first half. Noah Hrdlicka was one of the 5 players that were in the 18 2 years ago as UBC fell to Thompson Rivers in the national championship final. Several more on the roster, just not in the matchday lineup that day. But Hrdlicka played all 120 minutes in that snowy match in Kamloops. As first, lofts that one over the top, and Millie making it no problem with that and taking his time with it as well. UBC just with not that same level of pressure either. It does force the ball out of play there. As Lee will get set to send this one back in.
3 games over this weekend is so tough. UBC electing to sub most of their front line in their last match.
UBC has stuck with the same starting lineup throughout this tournament. Montreal making one change in the semifinal, but then back to their quarterfinal lineup here today. As Wanje Jamitse able to work that one back. And Hrdlicka will take possession on the near side for the Thunderbirds. Godbout looking to hold off his man. Just a little bit of a big touch there, and able to get it back was Bellamry. Wanje Jamite lofts that one into the air. And taken back now by Jovan Mann, who's able to win the foul. It's Brennan First that went down, and we saw UBC be a little bit conservative with their set pieces in the first half. Whether they want to take a few more chances in the second half will probably depend on how this game starts to unfold.
Is absolutely a threatening spot. They'll see if they can get something out of this. Chris Lee steps up to take this free kick.
Certainly targets in the box. Both center backs up for this one. Hanging back are Hrdlicka and Kaiser. But a two-man wall for the Carabins as Chris Lee gets set to send this one in. And the former Pacific FC man and Whitecaps 2 player took set pieces for them for a little while as well. And the referee just giving a little bit of a talking to Jovan Mann and Antoine Leonard Benoit. And blows his whistle and won't be able to get underway here. Chris Lee loops this one in and easily headed away, but challenge certainly not gone. Herbert able to get back. A little bit of a miscommunication there, and the counterattack's on for Montreal. Pommier just dispossessed by Dazovic. And the Thunderbirds trying to work it through. A bit of a mistouch there by Mann, and back on the ball is Monteser El-Harchali. Plays that one wide to Maxime Filion. Filion just sidesteps his man, leaves for El-Harchali, but a strong challenge there from First to work the play up and make the switch over to this near side for Chris Lee. And again, this UBC backline under pressure.
Lapses in detail, allowing Montreal to advance the ball up the field. The last string of play, UBC making mistakes, playing right into the Carabin hands.
So the go with a bit of a mistouch there, and that'll allow UBC to work the ball into the attacking half. As Lee puts that up the line. Kabuzi defending, but Herbert able to hold off his man so far. Has Norman as an option, dropping back as well as First. First sends that one into Mann. A nice turning touch there for Mann, able to work it out to Norman. And UBC trying to send another ball in. First sends that in. Lee heads that on and just wide.
It's a fantastic delivery. Unfortunately, Lee isn't able to redirect the ball onto goal, sending it wide. But one of the better chances UBC has seen so far.
Allowed them to build up a little bit methodically as well and swing the ball in, and they haven't done that too much today.
No, in the first half, we didn't see much of it really at all.
Leonard Benoit just getting a touch there, and will go off of Mann. And Pommier just flicking that back to Belanger. A little bit of a touch there, one back in midfield, but Pommier able to hold off his man and work that into Bellamri. Bellamri now out to El-Harchali. El-Harchali sidesteps his man, left-footed strike, and blocked by McKay. Second ball, Filion couldn't get the clean touch on it, and McKay able to make the second save and see off that danger as well, and UBC will win the foul to calm things down.
McKay couldn't quite hold on to that first shot.
El-Harchali does well to sidestep Lee, and McKay coming up once again with the save.
But he's there for that second one. Dasovic cleaning up the bits. We saw McKay off screen during the set piece, free kick for Chris Lee up the field, trying to stay warm, mixing in some side shuffles. Wasn't quite as busy in the opening minutes as he was in the first half, but again, when they need him, he is there, he is ready.
It is quite windy here as well, so it's cold and it's wet. It's not easy if you're not seeing too many shots. But UBC able to reset here and work from the back as Dazovic and Lajeunesse exchange possession. First sends that one over the top, headed on by Legault and just out of play, and that's the second time this half Legault has put it out of play under no real pressure. Lajeunesse slides that one up to Mann, holds off Kabuzi, and Mann able to switch the play over to the other side for Henry Godbout. Godbout with some space, looked at the shot on his right, but will leave for Hrdlicka. Cross comes in, and that one just cleared away by Belanger. And Montreal able to start a counterattack here as Bruce will drop back. And Belanger once again making an important interception for the Montreal Carabin the first year. Legault gives that one away, and hopping on it was the Thunderbirds, but a nice tackle there. And brought back the other side. And just getting tied up was Kaiser on El Harchali.
I think they're more than happy to take that foul up the field to stop the advancement of the ball. And on that last play, too, seeing Mann's ability to orchestrate play going forward, so technical, able to really see the field, need to get him on the ball more frequently.
And UBC hasn't been applying a ton of pressure when you compare it to the pressure that their backline is often under Bruce Fillion and at times El Harchali as well. It's just not the same when Montreal has the ball at their center backs.
Yeah, and UBC electing to sit a little bit more.
As the Carabin's able to attack, sending that cross in, but second ball out, and Lee able to get there first. Taken back now by El Harchali. Benoit tries to play that up the wing, but just headed down by Owen Herbert. And the Thunderbirds able to regain possession, but certainly have not looked the stronger team throughout the first hour or so of this game. But keeping it at 0-0 and keeping it within reaching distance of their first national title since 2013.
Like we said before, all it takes for them is a little bit of pressure, one moment. I'm curious to see if we see them start to pick their moments to press more often. Didn't happen as much in that first half.
Chris Lee sends this one on, just skips over the head of Luke Norman, and that one will hit our broadcast truck. But UBC able to continue to hold on to the ball and slow this game down a little bit. As Legault, under no pressure there, able to play out of the back. Bellamry dribbles himself into a corner. We'll have to lay off that one, but Legault able to distribute. As just called back for the foul was Kaiser as he took down the Montreal defender. El Harchali now trying to start another wave of an attack for Montreal. Bruce getting in a battle there with Lee. And coming in to help was Leonard Benoit. And just seeing that out of play, it will go the way of the Carabin. And Montreal not able to have as many consistent spells of possession or really waves of attack this half, but they still look the stronger team.
I would say more meaningful possession in UBC's half. Play very heavily favored to the side closest to us over here. Montreal's right, UBC's left. Haven't heard the name Godbout very often.
Considering the play in the first half of Godbout and Hrdlicka, it's been a lot more weighted to the other side this half.
And Godbout, the Canada West Rookie of the Year, third straight UBC Thunderbird to win Rookie of the Year as well. So impactful.
8 goals this season, 5 of them game winners in Canada West.
Yeah, and we need to look to see UBC switch the play, get him on the ball.
As that cross comes in, Wanje Jamitse was at the far post. He's able to get it back, but not able to control it. And we'll go all the way down the pitch for Joachim Mealy to control and reset to Emile Legault. Both these teams being quite strong over the last few years, but that one's laid off. Balamri sends that into Fillion and cleared away by Lee. And another chance there and a worrying moment for UBC.
That run in behind, beautifully timed. Lee sending that ball out for a corner. We've seen how dangerous the Carabin set pieces can be. Looks as if we'll get another in-swinger.
It will be Pommier to send this one in with his right foot. Options certainly in the box for the Carabin. Pommier loops that one in, headed on by Fillion and just skips wide. But the second time today that Fillion has been able to connect with Pommier on a corner kick.
Another close call. Just see him direct the ball out of play.
Couldn't quite wrap his head around that one.
I'm sure he's wishing to have that one back.
As UBC under pressure at the back once again, forcing the turnovers Montreal, but just playing out a play was Sebastian Kabouzi. Kabouzi, who previously played with the McGill Redbirds. Saw them, of course, this week, finishing 4th at the National Championship after returning to the National Championship for the first time since 2011. As calls there for a foul on UBC, but it will be a throw in favor of the Thunderbirds. And get another look at just the collision there. Belanger first collided.
Looked like incidental contact. Not much there, but you know the Montreal fans are going to be appealing for any foul they can.
As Elhart Charlie gains possession through midfield, finds space to Antoine Leonard-Benoit. Leaves that one out to Malabry. Cross comes in, has Bruce at the back post. Leonard-Benoit almost gets there for the long shot, but UBC now gains possession on the counter-attack. Missed touch there from Legault, and getting on the ball now is Luke Norman. He has a bit of space as well. Jovan Mann cuts into the box. That one chipped on through. Calls for a handball against Malabry. But just not given that way. Bellamry back on the ball now. Able to work that to Fillion. And drops to Pommier. He has Herbert chasing him down, but opens up space for himself. Bellamry now. Back to Pommier. Sliding challenge. And Elhart Chali will take it centrally. Has an option to switch the play to Wanje Jamitse. He does. Sidesteps on Hrdlicka, but the second touch there from Godbout was able to clear it.
Happy to relieve pressure in that moment.
Another wave of possession for Montreal, starting through Pommier now in midfield as he lofts that one up to the corner. No danger there as Lee able to take that down first touch and send it back up the line. Just staying in as Montreal regain possession through Kabouzi. He'll leave that one for Bellamry. Bellamry with a bit of space. Right-footed shot skips over the bar. Maybe McKay got a touch on it, but it will be called a goal kick.
We'll take another look here. Space in front. Just couldn't keep the ball down under the bar. UBC not closing down the space quick enough either.
And that's the second or third time that Zachary Bellamry has gotten an opportunity from distance, but this one over the top, Jovan Mann to run onto it and cleared way onto the road from Ulrich Belanger. And at this point in the match, we're approaching the 67th minute here, and you got to wonder whether these coaches are looking at their benches and seeing if there's any difference makers. Connor Mrajic, a consistent sub for UBC. He's been a bit of a difference maker in that attack that has usually looked to be more of a press, and Samir Jeha certainly had chances for Montreal in the semifinal.
Yeah, and Jeha coming in as the RCQ Rookie of the Year, a U Sports all-rookie team member, has scored a number of goals for Montreal this season as well.
As Fillion able to head that on, just picked off by Lee, but regained from Palmier. As Legault will just leave that one for Palmier, who has looked a little bit quieter this game than we saw before, and you can see that slip there from Chris Lee. Not the easiest playing conditions out there in the cold, wet afternoon here in Oshawa. And Millie will loft that one over the top, that one taken back. A little bit of space here for Godbout. He's taken down, but able to maintain possession from the ground. And a nice move there from Herbert. He tries to poke that through, and UBC able to maintain possession until that moment. And coming up the other way is Fillion. But a nice step there from Dazovic to maintain possession for UBC.
Lacking width there was UBC. Chris Lee electing to stay closer to half, along with his two center backs. Didn't really have an option to play outside.
That's nearly with the turnover there, Oliver Herbert, but Montreal able to maintain possession through Leonard Benoit. And that one just headed on, chasing in as Leonard Benoit. He's able to get there first, has Bruce as an option, but Lee with an important tackle. And Kaiser just pokes that one through, UBC with a bit of life in them. And a big pressure there from Julian Bruce to send that one out of play.
The press is so effective from the Carabin. We'll take another look at Godbout first.
Does well to maintain possession, keeping the ball on the ground with that second effort as well.
But coming back to that press, the Carabin are doing a very good job at forcing UBC to the one side, and they're unable to play out through their midfield. That's why we see
as this
the
one
ball
taken back by Fillion, left-footed strike, and that'll be easy for Bennett Mackay to handle. One of the easier tasks he's had today in a match that has called him to be outstanding. As that one played on through, onside is UBC. As that one played up to man, but a smart challenge there from Legault to put that out of play.
It's a good look.
And you can see that chance there from Luke Norman. And an important challenge because man would have been in clear on goal.
A well-timed run. Good intention to play in behind, but just not enough on it.
And UBC will step up to the corner flag and try and send this one in and open the scoring as we pass the 71st minute. Both center backs in the box once again. As Chris Lee lofts this one in. Dazovic rises, couldn't quite get there, but able to keep it in on the near side just nearly. But it will go out for a Montreal throw. You can start to see both sides substitutes warming up. There is a hero here today. Just whether he's on the pitch, we don't know. As the official pushes Leonard Benoit well back to the corner flag. And cleared aside by Bellamri, but not so far, only to Hrdlicka. Hrdlicka able to leave that one up to Godbout. He has a challenge from Palmier. As he's taken down, the assistant referee calls for a foul. And UBC will have a chance to loft this one in from an opportunistic position. Pommier just bringing down Gonbu on the challenge there. As UBC will go to the bench for their first sub of the day. Coming into the match will be Eric Kim. And Kim stepping into the match. We've seen him have some opportunities in the other games.
Eric Kim in his second year, but another product of the Whitecaps Academy.
As Chris Lee gets set to send this one in, and that one blocked by the wall. El Harchali getting a foot up there and making sure there was no pressure.
Take another look. Lee unable to lift the ball over that wall. Uncharacteristic, but he's taken a number of set pieces over the weekend.
As that one just cleared aside from Belanger once again, who's certainly not been fazed by any of this UBC pressure as the second half has worn on. And Kim to play down this left side. Or Oliver Herbert couldn't quite get things going in the way that he has throughout the weekend. And a bit more pressure there from Luke Norman as well. Leonard Benoit rises, but that one headed by Chris Lee. And we'll go out for a Montreal throw-in on this near side, just below our commentary position. Leonard Benoit, one of those players that's opted on the new trend of cutting your socks for improved blood circulation and comfort. And one back by Kim. Kim coming over to UBC from Calgary. One of the few out-of-province players that UBC brings on and just gets a block in there and out for a throw. As Leonard Benoit sends this into Julian Bruce, flicks that on and cleared aside by La Jeunesse. Taken back by Kabuzi, and he'll switch it over to Wanje Jamitse. Under pressure from Henry Godbout. And you can start to see that UBC is starting to put the Montreal defenders just under a little bit more pressure when they have the ball, but this one taken back by Zachary Balamri down the left side. He'll slow things down. Wanje Jamitse. Balamri able to work that back. The UBC regaining possession in their defensive third. And once again under the pressure of the three Montreal attackers now, as El Harchali joins the press. Norman gets a high boot there on Pommier, but Montreal able to win it back. And you do get the feeling that this will be a one-goal game if it's not a 0-0 draw on penalties. El Harchali brings it down the right side. Able to get past Kim. Shifts it to his left. Sends this one in. Fillion wasn't there. It was Dazovic. As Legault gets there first. And Kim just colliding with Legault and will go the way of UBC on the throw-in. Kim looks to be in a little bit of discomfort, but he'll be able to shake that off.
And man just applying pressure, forcing him outside. Kim with a timely step, out for a throw.
Lee able to work a little bit of possession for UBC here to calm things down in what's been a very physical second half. Not certainly as wide open as the first half in terms of chances. But UBC still without much in the way of attacking. As Legault able to head that one down. Still no shots on target for UBC through 76 minutes. And Leonard Benoit wins the second ball. Getting on the ball is Bruce, taken away by Kim, and UBC trying to find their rhythm again and switching the play over to Hrdlicka. Trying to find something down that right side, which they haven't done a whole ton of in this second half. As man slips, and El Harchali able to get onto it, slides that one through. Julian Bruce nearly there, but La Jeunesse with the important touch.
La Jeunesse, great defensive play. But like we talked about earlier, it's those little moments. That's all it takes, and the turf, the conditions can absolutely impact the game.
As this one taken forward by Legault, the center back, getting into the attack, and he's challenged and looks to be in some discomfort as well, spending some time on the ground. A strong challenge there. And given his form throughout this weekend, would not be a good piece to miss for the Carabins, but it looks like he'll be able to shake this off. Also getting some attention is Luke Norman. As both teams just get a chance to breathe here.
Norman will have to exit the pitch due to medical staff entering the field. We'll have to wait to be waved back on by the referee.
And most of the Montreal backline went back to get a sip of water and just refresh themselves into these final 20 minutes. El Harchali able to play that all the way through to Wanje Jamitse, and coming back onto the pitch is Luke Norman, so UBC just shorthanded for a few seconds. Bruce nearly getting there on the lofted ball in. El Harchali now. He has Kim. Leonard Benoit on the touchline. Cross comes in at the back post was Fillion. Hrdlicka able to loft that one up back into midfield, and man nearly got there, but can't quite crawl past Kabuzzi. Legault tries to work it through, and Lee will just clear that one without much worry for who was going to get there. And bringing it back into his box is Joachim Mill, who has not had much to do today.
Both teams happy to get a bit of a breather. Definitely been a more fatiguing half so far.
So that one lofted up. Dazovic able to get there first. And Godbout not quite able to thread that one through. Back on the ball is Kabuzzi. He finds Bruce, has El Harchali making the run in the middle. Bruce down to the touchline, cuts that back, cleared away by La Jeunesse. Follow up by Wanje Jamitse. The whistle had gone, but he missed the net anyway.
We'll take another look. La Jeunesse continuously in the right place at the right time. Call back for a goal kick, but another dangerous chance.
And it looks as though there's a bit of blood on one of the jerseys. Dazovic looks to be the one shaken up a little bit. Getting some medical attention on the pitch, and should there be blood on his jersey, he would have to swap it out if he were to continue. The UBC players going over to the bench just to ask for another shirt. Both teams traveling with only one away kit and one home kit to this tournament.
Looks like Dasovic has a bleeding nose.
Certainly not ideal for UBC. You do wonder whether a substitution would be made for Mike Mosher's men.
It's not somebody you want to see off the pitch.
And playing down a man for a while in the final 10 minutes of the 90 in the championship match is certainly not an ideal situation either, but no substitution for UBC just yet. They'll forge on with 10 for now.
Nosebleed's tough. Can't predict when it's going to end. You don't want to sub Dasovic off. But you also don't want to play with 10, especially against this squad.
Given the amount of chances that Montreal has already had. But Eric Kim here. Kim able to hold one off, holds two off, lays that one off. Luke Norman, and first save of the day by Mill. And Norman called for the foul, but with 10, UBC able to get their best chance. And well done by Kim there to just strong-arm two defenders and lay that one off to Norman.
Third man run from Norman. Very effective, unable to be clinical, giving Millie his first save of the game.
Fillion just getting a handball up on there. And UBC still forging ahead with 10. It does look as though we've got another shirt for Dasovic here. He'll be wearing number 29 now. The number usually belonging to Kyle Dent.
Fourth official also instructing him he's got to get rid of all the blood.
But certainly not an ideal scenario here. It does look as though he's going to be able to come into the match. Just washes off the blood with a water bottle, and there he is, the third-year Lucas Dasovic, back into this match after dealing with a nosebleed. And center backs, they certainly make him tough. Fillion not quite able to control that, and Julian Bruce able to get on it. Right back into the action is Dasovic, but cleared away by La Jeunesse and headed on by Kim. Jovan Men now able to gain possession for UBC, one-on-one with Legault. That one lofted in, back post, headed on. Kim was there. And almost a bit of miscommunication, but Belanger able to head that back to his goalkeeper, Joachim Millie, who's seen some more action in these last few minutes.
Coming back to Dasovic, too, one of those UBC defenders with professional experience, previously playing for Vancouver Whitecaps FC2.
Fillion gets on the touchdown from Bruce, tries to lay that one back off. And getting the clearance once again, La Jeunesse. So shin pad comes up in that challenge. One of Emile Legault or Jovan Mann are missing a shin pad. It's fallen out. Legault didn't quite know where it went. And the fans certainly pushing on this Montreal Carabin team. Blue smoke in the stands as well. A common sight at Sepsum, where one of the few supporters groups that comes out every Friday night for RCQ soccer.
Makes me feel like I'm at home, back at Swangard.
And Montreal set to make their first substitution of the day, it looks like, as well. Theo Oberhopper-Pooley and Edouard Traore putting on their kits and getting set to come on, and they certainly made a difference in their semifinal. Legault playing this one out of the back. Elhard Chali in what could be his final moments, often a sub for Traore. As that one just cleared aside, and Legault will regain control for the Carabin. Belanger with lots of time to send that one over, but headed away by Kim, and Eric Kim has certainly made a difference since he's come on a few minutes ago.
He's been heavily involved.
Pommier in a tight space, able to work that out to Maxime Fillion. He's taken down. No call. Certainly appeals for a foul there. And the supporters not too happy about that one. As Kim able to keep that in. Taken back by Leonard Benoit. And And once again, Montreal trying to trap UBC down this right side. And they've been pretty successful so far in this half. Bruce just loses out on the ball, but able to win it back to Wanje Jamitse. And getting a touch in was first, but Bruce back on the ball. He has space. Right-footed shot cleared away by Lee. And taken back by midfield by Sebastian Kabuzzi. As Legault will reset, and Montreal certainly applying the pressure here. That one looped in. Back to Antoine Leonard-Benoit with a bit of space. As he finds Zachary Bellamry. Just looking to loop that ball in. Julian Bruce ready for the cross to come in. As El Harchali sends it down to Leonard-Benoit. That one out to Palmier. Palmier, right-footed shot, punch away, filling in on goal. McKay with another save. And out for a corner kick, and Bennett McKay with another double save.
Wow. Here's another look. First save by McKay. Fillion's right there for the rebound, but makes himself as big as he can to stop the follow-up.
Gets the congratulations from Noah Hrdlicka, as well as the official coming over to give a word to Pat Raimondo, as well as the Montreal bench. And it does look like the Montreal assistant is going to get a yellow card. Our first booking of the day going to the bench. So the York Lions pick up a couple of those in the semifinal. And UBC set to make another substitution as well. Doesn't quite look like Montreal will make their sub yet, but first, this corner kick from the Carabin amid a ton of pressure. El Harchali on the corner. He sends this one in. Rising to it was Bruce. Back post was Belanger. Couldn't get the shot off. But Belanger tries to send that one back in and out of play from Dazovic.
Belanger with a bit of room as well.
And UBC set to bring in Connor Mrajic. And coming out of the match will be Luke Norman, who had that brace in the semifinal. But Mrajic, a Vancouver native, went to Prince of Wales Secondary. The 5'10 forward has certainly added a lot of energy through the previous matches for UBC, coming in at a similar time here in the 90th minute. Still no goal between these two sides. Montreal certainly with the momentum.
And he looked great against McGill.
As Leonard-Benoit lofts this one into Julian Bruce, who rises, plays that one back to Kabuzzi. And Montreal just not able to get a clean chance, and when they do, Bennett McKay has stood the test.
And it's a big ask for Norman and man up top.
That's a nice run there from Wanje Jamitse, but called back, and Montreal can't believe that that one was called back.
And the substitution looking to bring some energy in the game. We have another look. Fans again not happy.
We will have just 1 minute of added time. 2 minutes, excuse me, of added time to the 90 here. And should this remain tied, it will be 2 15-minute halves of extra time. If that's not decided, to the spot for penalty kicks. And that one won back by Mrajic. His first touches of the match. Just pushed away by Leonard-Benoit. And lofted all the way up for La Jeunesse to clear as he gets the brunt of a collision against Bruce. And Bruce will go into the book. First yellow card of the day in terms of players. And La Jeunesse looks quite shaken up. He took the brunt of the force there.
La Jeunesse with a great performance tonight. Hit the ground hard. The contact from Bruce. Taking that gingerly. But he's back on his feet. A player that the Thunderbirds need.
Both of the Thunderbirds center backs getting decent beating tonight. La Jeunesse there, he's been involved in many collisions and clearances tonight so far. And of course, Luke Norman, Lucas Dazovic had to leave the game before coming back in with a new shirt. And both of them will go up as McKay will loft this one in what is bound to be the final moments of the 90. McKay lofting that one in. Cutting that back was Kim, but pulling that one back. Mrazek able to get there. And a bicycle kick from Mann, couldn't quite pull it off. Pressure from UBC here as Kim on the near side. Up against Leonard Benoit. Cross comes in. Mann on target! Skips over the line! Jovan Mann in the death! Takes his shirt off, and UBC is going to win the national championship.
Incredible. Wow, UBC taking advantage of that set piece. We only had 1 minute of added time.
And Montreal cannot believe it. The players are in disbelief, the supporters as well. Deep into stoppage time, Jovan Mann rising, unable to nod that one past Joachim Mealy.
We've spoken about how impactful Kim has been since he's come into the game, whipping that ball back in. Now it's up to UBC
everybody
to stay
forward.
locked in.
A full rush for Montreal to tie this one up. Headed on by Bruce. He's taken down, no call. And the referee looks at his watch, and the UBC Thunderbirds are national champions for the first time since 2013.
A heartbreaker for Montreal, who have shown what a different class they are this tournament. But UBC, all it takes is one moment, and they are so good at taking advantage of it. What a story. Stoppage time. Just unbelievable.
And for Jovan Mann as well, he comes into this team and he's been outstanding. Started the year in midfield, shifted into being that outright attacker and gets the championship goal at the death. The last possession that UBC had this season is Jovan Mann heading it past Joachim Mealy. What a moment.
What a finish. And UBC sticking to their plan. Okay, letting Montreal have possession, weathering the storm, seeing it through, and capitalizing when it counted most.
And certainly quite the battle between these two teams. For Montreal, they outplayed UBC for basically this entire match. They had their share of possession. They had the better share of the shots. They had the better share of the opportunities, and Bennett McKay stood on his head, and there was just no finish for Montreal.
Bennett McKay, for me, the player of the match. We'll see what is decided, but unbelievable. He made 10 saves today. 10 saves in a U Sports national final. Showed up when they needed him most.
And of course, the UBC women also in the national final. The UBC men and the UBC women have never won the national championship in the same year for all the years that both programs have been dominant in their respective tournaments. But a 14th national title for UBC, the first time since 2013, and they've reached that point where the standard is set for this UBC program.
And there's so many young players on this team. The future continue to look bright. They have their front three. First, second years, Jovan Mann. We have Norman, Godbout. Like, it's just, the future is so bright.
And Connor Mrazek also comes to this game and really shakes things up in attack.
That injection of energy seemed to be what UBC needed. It's so tough coming into a game in that moment. You've sat for so long. It's cold. But every time Cotter steps on the field, he plays his role. He does what is asked of him. And that is such an important part of the squad.
And for a lot of these UBC players, family and friends on hand here coming out to the national championship, they've weathered the storm here in terms of watching the match, but UBC certainly weathered the storm in terms of that early pressure that they were under.
Yeah, and it's execution. I don't know what was said in that room. I don't know what the tactical plan was, but sitting in their block, relying on each other, picking their moments to press. It wasn't quite as effective as it has been throughout the tournament, but they've done enough. La Jeunesse in the right place at the right time so frequently. Dasovic as well, such a key part of this squad. So good.
And Eric Kim able to come into this match as well, and certainly a standout for UBC, making an instant impact, sending in that cross that was the eventual winner from Jovan Mann.
Yeah, Montreal looking to force them down Kim's side, trying to keep the ball away from Godbout, I assume, but Kim took on the challenge.
And UBC as well. Of course, their 14th national title. That's a record in terms of U Sports soccer programs. And a few teams were catching up to them, but UBC able to see this one out. And for the first time since 2013, this is a program that has consistently sold themselves as a contender in Canada West. How important is this to reestablish that national champion status that had eluded them for over 10 years?
There's been years of disappointment for UBC. Such high expectations. Oftentimes going through the U Sports season ranked first, but haven't been able to deliver on the national stage. Disappointment coming to an end finally for UBC.
And when you take a look at the midfield play as well on this UBC team, you see that attacking play that stands out, but it's the quiet midfield of a guy like Kaiser that just stands out and is able to be calm throughout some of the high pressure situations.
It's tireless and sometimes thankless work, especially in games like these where the back line was looking to relieve pressure, but out of possession, I'd love to know how many kilometers that they put in today. Really holding it down, working tirelessly, just, again, such a key part.
And for the Montreal Carabins as well, many of these players moving on in terms of, the likes of Quentin Pommier, Julien Bruce, both fifth years. But when you look at some of their young players, especially Belanger, who had another outstanding performance.
I did say his name quite a few times throughout this tournament. Belanger, one of the best players, in my opinion, on Montreal this weekend. I've watched every single game they've played. And for me, he was the core. He was the calm. He was the composure. Then you think about other players like Pommier, defensively, offensively, all around the pitch. So class. Bruce, everywhere. A goal, an assist, making a huge impact. But you can see they're devastated. Did not go the way they wanted to.
When you take a look at, that style of play that Montreal was able to put on, they had that press of Bruce and Philly, and for that entire game, Althar Charlie got in that as well. But their fullbacks is something I want to focus on because we saw a lot of involvement both from Antoine Leonard-Benoit and Wesley Eves, Wanje Jomitse.
And creating the overload is what makes it partly so difficult for a back four. Now UBC, the back four that they have, they were able to hold down the fort, even though at times it didn't seem like that was going to be the case. But Montreal, throughout the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final, creating overloads, dynamic movement off the ball, so effective. They just could not be clinical. Finishing with 19 shots.
And Bennett McKay, certainly a standout performer, but we will see the awarding of the player of the game here, and it's to Lukas Dazovic, who comes in with the bandage on his nose, had to leave the game, and UBC saw out several minutes of playing with 10 men.
Yeah, fantastic performance by Dazovic. Again, being exactly where UBC needed him to be, being able to control that aerial presence, and
player of the game for the Carabins, Zachary Bellamry, who certainly had a few efforts from distance.
Yeah, he's going to remember those for a while. It's so tough being in those positions and the execution when it comes down to it. I wouldn't say he took a bad hit, but unable to keep it down, a few of them flying over the ball.
And it takes quite the effort for Lukas Dazovic to come away with the player of the game when you consider that he didn't score the winning goal. That was Jovan Mann at the death to win a national championship, and his goalkeeper made 10 stops.
Yeah, it speaks to his impact. It speaks to, again, another position on the field that sometimes goes unnoticed. It's the little things. It's cleaning up the bits. It's disrupting play. It all adds up.
And this UBC team as well also going to get their gold medals. Montreal to get their silver medals. The York Lions winning the bronze medal earlier in today's proceedings with a win over the McGill Redbirds by a score of 3-1. But UBC also to lift the trophy for the first time since 2013, a standard-setting mark for this program, something the women's program has done several times since then. But Mike Mosher, who's been able to establish himself with this program over the last 25 years, able to add another national championship to his resume, the 14th for UBC's program, and certainly an outstanding accomplishment for this UBC team and heartbreak for Montreal.
It's devastating. You can see the looks on the Montreal player faces. You feel for them, but when it comes down to a championship, you can outplay the other team for 90 plus minutes, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
And of course, continued U Sports soccer coverage as Bennett McKay gets a all-star presentation, as well as Eric Lajeunesse.
McKay, just unreal.
And team of the tournament being honored now. Players from not only the final, but players that stood out throughout the weekend here at Ontario Tech University, who have been fantastic hosts of this year's tournament. As we get a look at our team of the tournament, Bennett McKay, Eric Lajeunesse, Ibrahim Chami, Yannick Laurent, Lucas Nazovic, Christian Zeppieri, Sebastian Kabuzzi, Quentin Pommier, Manveer Gill, Henry Godbout, and Jovan Mann. And certainly a good presence of our Final Four on that bracket.
And we could speak endlessly about these performances, each playing such a key part in their team's success. It's something else to perform on this stage against the best teams in the country, beyond your conference, beyond regular season, and showing up when the pressure is on.
And for a lot of these players as well, it's the end of their university sport careers. The CPL an option for some. Some might go overseas as well, but ending a championship with a title and ending a career with a title is a big moment as well.
Such an unbelievable feeling to go out on a high. You wish them all the best in their future, and this is something they're going to look back on in their U Sports career and remember so fondly.
And for those looking for more U Sports soccer, the 2024 BMO U Sports Women's Soccer Championship underway in Halifax as well. They're heading into the second half of that gold medal game. The UBC Thunderbirds leading 1-0 through there over the Laval Rouge et Or. 45 minutes to go as we get Jovan Mann, the national championship MVP, after scoring a brace in the first half of the first game of the tournament and scoring in the final seconds to win the national championship for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, and a big part of the goals that UBC scored in the semifinal as well. That front three, the chemistry was just the difference maker, really.
We'll get a look at that winning goal. A nice looped in cross from Kim, and able to rise there was Jovan Mann. It might have even gone off Belanger on a second look there. But Mann certainly pretty hyped for that one to go in the back of the net, as that clinched the national championship for UBC. And Belanger, one of the few moments that he wasn't able to rise to the headed clearance.
Yeah, moments before, Mann also attempting a bicycle kick, the final moments of the game. Got to hand it to him, the confidence to try that.
And we did see a bicycle kick here earlier in the tournament. Cairo Core of the home side, Ontario Tech Ridgebacks, scoring one into the opening game of the tournament, which of course they fell to the McGill Redbirds as they hit the post in the penalty shootout. But a good showing from Ontario Tech, able to go out with a win as well. And Montreal finds their way with a silver medal here. They've made 6 of the last 7 U Sports finals. They've set that standard, but only have been able to come out with the title twice.
Yeah, and again, speaking to the class that Montreal has, such a great team, technically, tactically, in possession, out of possession, a number of amazing things we could say about them, but not able to take their experience and learnings and translate it into a championship today.
They fell to Cape Breton last season. This year they were outstanding across the RSEQ, scored 31 goals and only allowed 7 while posting 6 regular season clean sheets. And they continued that defensive awareness throughout the national championship as well. Really, they did it all of today. They weren't under much pressure. Mealy did not have to make many saves, except the one chance on Jovan Mann.
Yeah, and it's so difficult this U Sports season being so short and waiting so long to get another crack at it. So much of a condensed schedule as well, and the mental toughness, the physical fatigue to get to this point, and just unfortunate for Montreal.
But on the other side, while there's the agony of defeat, UBC is all celebration and all smiles right now after winning at the last minute. They'll get their gold medals here as well. UBC, of course, 14th national title in program history. It really doesn't get better for this UBC program.
No, it doesn't. And what a way to cap off the season. After, again, disappointment for them as well in their last final. They took their learnings, they took their experience, and they came out with a gold medal today.
And of course, UBC had gone through long championship droughts as well. They won the title in 1974, but they didn't win it again until 1984 when they beat the Carleton Ravens. But it was over 10 years this time for UBC. Of course, the pandemic missed season. Amid that, a few of these players committing to UBC during the pandemic, not able to play their rookie season and then coming in late, but able to stand atop the national podium now for the first time since 2013.
And we talk about taking that disappointment, taking that learning. There were 5 players remaining from the lineup in 2022 where they fell to the Thompson Rivers University squad, and today they rewrote the story.
And one of the players on that TRU Wolfpack side was Jost Hofsendorf. He transferred to UBC, didn't get into the match today, had some substitute appearances throughout the tournament, but he's able to pick up a second national championship in 3 seasons, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a decorated U Sports career, if I do say so myself.
And for UBC to move on to next year, you've had a lot of these young players set the standard now. Is that hunger more for next year, or are they maybe going to let off a little bit when it comes to Canada West?
No, I think the hunger is absolutely still there. And for a team of this stature and experience, coming in with Academy Whitecaps experience, we have some professional players. They're always going to be hungry.
And both these teams certainly always contenders in their conferences. UBC will go back to Canada West, having the success here at the National Championship.
Yeah, and a little celebration going on. We see them with their medals, happy as can be.
And for Montreal as well, they'll go back to the RSEQ, and what was a testing conference this year, always a contentious rivalry with McGill, which really took a step up this year. And then you always see them with UQTR and Laval as well. Really 4 teams in that conference that can compete for national titles at this point. Canada West, always relatively competitive as well, but UBC certainly the standout team in that conference.
And they built this program over the years, and they've done such a good job both on the men's and women's side.
And they will get the trophy now. And they've had the opportunity to put their sticker on the bracket moving forward, but the trophy and banner to the UBC Thunderbirds here today. And it will be Noah Herdalika going to grasp the trophy alongside Bennett McKay, who after making 10 saves will certainly still have the energy to unfurl the banner. And after a quick photo, UBC will be more than ready to lift the trophy here, as the Thunderbirds for the first time since 2013 have climbed the mountain of U Sports men's soccer. Over 50 teams in U Sports men's soccer, but it is the UBC Thunderbirds on top for 2024 at the Bruce Power 2024 U Sports men's soccer championship. Champions, the UBC Thunderbirds. And UBC able to celebrate into the night, head back to Vancouver as well in the Point Grey campus there, adding what is a record 14th national championship to their statistics. And it looks like they might even get the chance to put another sticker on the bracket board here as well.
What a way to do it. What a way to finish off their U Sports national championships.
And for many of these players, they've had experience in championship photos before, always with the Canada West banner and the Canada West medals, but a first time that they'll be able to take that photo with the U Sports banner in what might look to be the first year that both the men's and women's programs at UBC are able to come out with national titles in what is one of the preeminent soccer programs in Canada.
Still lots of soccer to play in that game, though, as well. And the board is awaiting the placement of that sticker.
Not sure how hyped you get for a sticker after getting a medal and a trophy, but it's certainly still a celebratory moment for the Thunderbirds in what's become a pretty cool moment for all the teams this weekend, able to put their sticker on the board as they advance throughout the bracket. And lots of family and friends here for the Thunderbirds as well, as they do make their way over to the whiteboard to put their sticker on. And the cooler has also made its way out, likely awaiting that of Mike Mosher. And it's pretty cold out here, and Mosher sees the cooler. Don't know if he wants it very much, but it will make its way over to him as the players do dump the water on Mike Mosher. And the celebrations are on here at Vaso's Field.
Again, at least it's not snowing. I'm sure Mosher will take that as a win.
An official now in terms of the whiteboard, the UBC Thunderbirds claiming their 14th national championship. And chance of Mike Mosher, who adds yet another title to his resume in what has been a very successful coaching career for him at UBC.
And he's built such a talented group of players, and he continues to do so year after year.
Assistant coach Joe Zuppo taking a photo of the board as well. He's had the chance to play with several of these players, played his university soccer in the OUA, but he is able to make his way over to UBC and have that opportunity. But it is the UBC Thunderbirds that are the national champions. We want to thank Canada Soccer game officials for their work, Dalhousie University for organizing the championship over in Halifax, and Ontario Tech University for the championship here in Oshawa as well. The executive producer of U Sports on CBC is John Bauer, broadcast consultant, the Honorable Mike Brannigan, U Sports graphics coordinator Aaron McPherson, video producer Neville Medill and Sarah Saeed, stats from John Edwards, sponsorship and commercial sales from Tyler Mulligan, and our U Sports on CBC streaming roster, ISI Live, including Matt Copeland, Vice President Network Operations and Support CEO Ben Neathery, Broadcast Support Specialist Justin Hoyler, Producer and Director Stefan Schadelsman, Operations Specialist Caitlin DeMaronce, and U Sports on CBC at the 2024 Bruce Power Men's Soccer Championship was produced by Casey Dobson, our director Mateo Ruiz, our audio technician Jeff, replay operators Daniel Naranjo and Lucas Majorin, font operators Samar Storg and Dev Desai, and our amazing camera operators Zoe Yee, Joseph Turco, Robert Fusco, Zach Catton, Tiffany Lau, and Thurga Shinaranthan. We want to thank Canada Soccer game officials for their work on this tournament as well, and of course all the teams that came out to Ontario Tech University who organized quite the national championship. We invite you to continue watching U Sports on CBC next weekend as the road to the 2024 Vanier Cup takes center stage with the UTEC and Mitchell Bowls. The Laurier Golden Hawks travel to picturesque Lennoxville, Quebec to face the Bishops Gators at noon Eastern in a battle of undefeated teams, while the Laval Rougeois head to Regina for the first time to face the Rams in the Mitchell Bowl at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And in 2 weeks, it's the Vanier Cup live from Kingston, Ontario and Richardson Stadium. Check your local listings and usports.ca for game times and channel distribution. So for the final time, this is Ben Steiner reminding you of the UBC champions here in the 2024 Bruce Power Men's Soccer Championship. UBC taking the title. Ben Steiner alongside Maddie Ma, and for everyone in the booth, thanks so much for tuning in to U Sports on CBC.
Sports on CBC, presented by les Championnats U-Sport à Radio-Canada, une présentation du gouvernement du Canada, the Government of Canada. Nike, Fox 40, Barraburn Medical Supplies, Les Bag Baron Rings, et par Bruce Power, and by Bruce Power.